Good morning, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Market Caller, brought to you by yours truly, the Value Flow Trading team. Today being the 24th of April 2026, we're excited to have each and every one of you right here on the Market Caller. My name is CJ, and I'm going to be taking you on the first part of the Market Caller. We also have Abby, we have Cynthia, Demola, and Lekon. We'll be taking you through this session of the market analysis, where we'll be analyzing the market, analyzing major forex currency pairs, indices, and synthetics as well, so that you can get clear direction on what to expect as we wrap up the trading week and what we look forward to seeing in the coming weeks. So these are the things that we're expecting to cover today. And we're also going to be sharing some of our trade markups, trade projections that we're expecting to take today, so you can enjoy both the analysis and possible trades that will be taken today. So whether you're watching us from Lagos, London, Tokyo, Beijing, Berlin, welcome to the Market Caller. So let's get the show started. Starting off with gold against the dollar, we have been expecting a quiet week, and we experienced quite a lot of quietness this week, as we saw on gold. Earlier this week on Monday, Sunday into Monday, we had a projection for a bullish gold, and we saw some bullishness on gold on Monday. If you look down on the 4-hour time frame, gold was quite bullish on Monday, but then the following week showed us some quietness that we didn't even foresee coming. Now, this was gold on Monday. We saw this bullishness, and after the bullishness on gold, we saw this heavy bearishness to the downside. And one of the things that has been pushing gold, making it bullish in the past couple of weeks, was the geopolitical tension around the US, Israel, and Iran, which is hovering around the Strait of Hormuz, the closure and the blockade, the opening, and all the other things that have been happening around that sphere. But this week, we've seen quietness. We've seen normalcy returning gently into the market. And with that, we've seen a bearish gold since the beginning of Tuesday into the remaining part of the week. So you can see from Tuesday, we've been bearish. And we expect that bearishness kind of to continue on to the downside. One of the levels we're expecting gold to go take out possibly today is this low right here. All right, this is the lowest point since, I think this is the lowest point since 10th of April. So we're expecting price to take out this low. This is like the nearest liquidity point before we go out to take out the low of this part, and then which will be the low of April. So for now, we're expecting price to go take out this low possibly today into the next week, so that by the time we come into next week, we might have a retracement to start the week, which will give us a buy and then a sell-off afterwards. When talking about sales today, we're looking at some possible places that we're expecting gold to sell from, one of which is quite a premium level. We're going to see that more on the 15 minutes time frame. We're expecting gold to trade and sell off from this particular point here, or for it to trade all the way to this 1-hour order block and then sell off to the downside. So for gold, we are bearish and for today, and we want to see price sell off from 2 points of interest. First is this one right here to the downside. Second is this one right here to the downside. So I want to see gold sell from either of these two places, and this is going to be short day trading markup, and if price should play out according to our prediction, we're going to see it sell off from somewhere around here, and then we'll be exiting somewhere around here. So if price doesn't sell from where it currently is at this moment, we're going to be having a sell setup from here instead. So these are the two places I want to see a sell of gold from, and each of them is going to give us a minimum of 1:3. So I'm going to be selling gold from here to the downside, or from here to the downside. Much more clear on the 5 minutes time frame, we'll see how that these two parts are playing out the same strategy. This is our box pattern. We'll be expecting to see price come take out liquidity here and sell off, or give us a run of a sell from here to the downside. These are the two trades that I'm looking to take today on gold. So that is that for gold. 2 sell trades. Anyone that plays out will be taking advantage of it. Now let's move to the yen basket. Looking at the yen basket, it has sold so much that we're expecting stronger and stronger retracement as the days go by. I want to see the yen basket selling to somewhere around, buying somewhere around here before the next round of sell, because it has sold so much, it's heavily discounted, and might not be interesting for any more sales. So as you can see how it played out here, Same thing here, and then a couple of spaces ago, you could see how the yen basket gave us proper retracement before selling further. So right now it is heavily discounted, and no one will be interested in selling further from here. Instead, we'll be looking to sell from somewhere around here. So the yen basket, I'm expecting a buy all the way here. And while we're expecting a buy on the yen basket, if you look at GBP JPY, we'll be expecting a sell-off to give us some proper retracement on both GBP JPY and Euro JPY. If you look at GBP JPY from the daily time frame, it's already hinting at a possible sell, and we will be looking forward to seeing how GBP JPY is going to unfold the sell into the remaining part of the week. Now, if you look at it here, you'll see that price has sold up, has bought so much, and it's currently at premium. It's too expensive right now to buy. So we're expecting GBP JPY to give us a rundown to this region here. So we might be expecting a sell somewhere here, a sell all the way to this region here, because this is the previous support, previous resistance level. So we're expecting something around here for GBP to give us a sell into. You can see now the retracement has started, hence the retracement, the Fibonacci retracement to being drawn here. So for GBP, I'm bearish, and I want to take exit around this region, somewhere around 212. Now, if you look at the 4-hour time frame, so we can get possible trades, 4 hours and 1 hour time frame will give us what we're looking for. Now, you can see on the 4-hour time frame, price has struggled to take out this high, so it's giving us an indication that this retracement will be what we've been expecting. Now, for GBP on the 1-hour time frame, I've been expecting price to come and take out this high and then give us a sell-off from here because of the box pattern we are trading currently, but price hasn't done as much yet. So we can scroll down to the 15-minute time frame to also see possible patterns that price could give us that will be taken to sell. Now, the one place that price has already entered, but it's got there very early this morning, is this other block right here, this 15 minutes other block. All right, it got there somewhere around 6:30 GMT plus 1 and sold off. Right now, we are expecting to see another round of sell on GBP JPY. For me, what I'll be looking out for on GBP JPY to take a sell is to see an engulfing pattern or an evening star pattern, just like we had an evening star pattern, something like an evening star pattern here. And we're also expecting this to give us an engulfing pattern. If it closes in an engulfing pattern, then we'll be taking a sell on GBP JPY from here. Okay, so I'm not entering the sell yet. I want to see this red candle engulf this green candle. So let me just make it as simple as possible. So once that plays out, I'll be expecting to sell on GPGPY from here. And then we're going to be selling all the way to take out the next possible liquidity, which is somewhere around here. That should give us a minimum of 1:4. Okay, so this is what we'll be looking out for on GPGPY today. All right, so this is the trade I have for GPJPY, and I've shown you the criteria that will help me execute that trade. And finally, on Euro JPY, very quickly, I'm expecting the same thing to play out on Euro JPY, but in this case, I'll be expecting a Euro JPY retracement to the 1-hour order block right here. Once price trades into that level, I will be entering a Euro JPY sell. So this is what I'm expecting on Euro JPY. All right, so that will be all from my end, and we'll be proceeding on this analysis. Okay, so for Euro JPY, just one more thing. We need to make sure that we are targeting these lows here, these twin lows or these double bottoms here. That's what we'll be targeting. So once price trades into this region, we'll be selling Euro JPY all the way here. All right, so that's all for Euro JPY. So quickly, we're going to be going to analyze the dollar index, dollar pairs, and dollar pairs like USD and Euro USD. And to take us further on that, we're going to be having Cynthia join us right here on the Market Color, and she's going to be sharing her insights with us on dollar and dollar-related pairs. Good morning, Cynthia.
Good morning, CJ. That was such an insightful analysis from you. I hope we're all taking advantage of the trade calls we have ongoing here. Very quickly, we're just going to have a recap of what we analyzed on Monday and what played out during the week. And of course, I will be starting from the XY. On the weekly time frame, we established the fact that price had been ranging for a period of time, and would like to see price retracing into this level, right? The left shoulder right here at 107.5. Shoulder sweep break. Once price returns right back into this level, I am more than interested to keep selling DXY. However, on daily time frame, we actually saw that price had retraced right back to this left shoulder right here at 97.519, and we said we're looking at the long DXY once price retraces back into the level, and that's what we saw. Price tapped into this level, and we're seeing the upward move. Where am I targeting? Price should take out the high at level 100.360. Buy that just started. This high will be taking out the high right here, reiterating at 100.360. On the 4-hour time frame too, we're seeing that the motion is even very bullish away to the upside. I can actually spot an entry on the 15 minutes time. My network is quite slow. Please bear with us while it comes up. On the 15 minutes time frame right here, for the continuation of the buy of the XY, saying that we want the high cleared on the daily time frame. There's a classic box pattern right here that I'm speculating that price should trade into before continuing the buy. Shoulder at 98.359, sweep to the downside, break to the upside. As price returns right back into this left shoulder, I want to keep buying the XY. Right. And of course, you know, a point of interest, a point of taking profit is the high on daily time frame. So this is going to be a swing trade. Beg your pardon. My network just right. So if you remember on Monday, we were actually looking out for sell opportunities on Euro USD, and we were speculating that price was going to sell heavily. On the weekly time frame, as seen right here, we have been looking at this period of time now for price to break below and trade into 1.7. But want to see break to down. We're looking out for a sell to buy on the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, if you remember, on the daily time frame, we actually spotted a box pattern, right, for the sell of Euro USD. We spotted a box pattern right here, shoulder, right, at 1.17956. A sharp sweep to the upside and a break to the downside. Price just retraced right back into this level, and we're seeing more push to the downside. Where is this going to? This sell? The sell should clear the low at 1.13984. As an analyst on Monday, seeing that because of the week, USD actually sold. Right, and on the 4-hour time frame, we're actually saying that we wanted to keep riding the sell on Euro USD once this low right here is being taken out. And we're seeing the price actually approaching that level. You should see this low right here, the low at 1.16478 being taken out for us to keep continuing sell on Euro US. Things being equal next week and there's no drama in the market, still see a continuation sell on Euro USD. Let's look at our point of entries on the much lower time frames. And of course, you know, we usually use the classic box pattern right here. Very simple. Once you see left shoulder and sweep to the upside, a break to the downside, we want to keep selling. Right, one has played out already. Shoulder right here at 1.195. A sharp sweep to the upside, a sharp break to the downside. Price just retrace right back into this level. 1.1697. Beg your pardon. Network just keeps going off on me. So last on our list being GBP USD. If you were right here during the market color session on Monday, we're actually looking out for sell opportunities on GBP USD. And of course, on the weekly time frame, we're looking out for a sell to buy. A sell into this level 1.24683, and once price gets there, we will be warming up to ride it all the way to the upside. On the daily time frame, however, low has actually been taken out. The low at 13424, and of course, seeing a clear break of structure and a retracement back into this left shoulder at 1.3517 establishes the fact that we should keep selling GBP USD, and our target should be this low at 1.1948, right? So price has traded into this level, this left shoulder on the daily frame, and of course, want to see a continuation of this sell way right into this level for price to even break this low right here. Eventually, the low at 1.30214. So we will actually swing the buy on GBP USD. We want to swing, sorry, I beg you, we want to swing the sell on GBP. All we're looking out for should be entry price. Again, do bear with us. Network has been a little bit crappy on my end. So on the 15 minutes time frame, we're looking out for just entries. We're looking out for just entries on the 15 minutes time frame. And of course, you already know that it is just simple. Shoulder, a sharp sweep to the upside, break to the downside, and we want to take sell opportunities. It's not so clear on the 15 minutes time frame, but let's see if we can find something on the 5 minutes time frame. If there's nothing there, we don't force entries. We just look out for entries to play out before entering in market. With that being said, I've come to the analysis. Lekon, what are you seeing in synthetics market? I took Bell on VIX 75 more less on Monday. Of course, I took profit. I'm looking out for your analysis.
Good morning, Cynthia. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you for the feedback. So this morning we are going to be starting, once again, good morning, everyone. We are going to be starting with this 31S this morning as our analysis on Monday finally played out just on Wednesday. You know, we have this particular zone marked out that our liquidity point for price to tap in, of which we have our stop loss marginally just at this low. And now we are expecting to get our 1:2 for price to trade all the way to this flip zone here. And right now we can see as price got there and triggered after taking out this liquidity, our entry has been triggered, and all we are waiting for is let's see how far it goes. All right, so that is what we are looking out for on this 31S, because right from the 4-hour time frame, you are going to agree with me that our trade has been there. So this is our sweep of liquidity. We've had the break to the upside, and just we're expecting price to retrace a little bit, and that's what exactly happened somewhere around this zone. Yes, I know some people's stop loss is going to be somewhere below this level here. I mean, this place. Yes, it's good and fine if your stop loss is here, but I'm still of the opinion that we may see price, pull a little bit back to this level, and that is why we're looking at this low being the ultimate low for price. All right. If you look at it, even from the daily perspective, which is the 24 hours. That's why we do this particular order block here. If you look at it, the reason why we are choosing that point is we have a fair value gap inside here and this particular order block. So we're expecting that all things being equal, price should not trade below this order block here. And if for any reason price wants to come and test this fair value gap, then that is going to be the second entry. So I'm of the opinion, just let's wait and see what price, plays out in the market into the weekend. All right, so that is that for this 31S this morning. A quick one to 75-1S. 75-1S on Monday, we had an analysis for a short sell somewhere around this region here, somewhere here, and we took the sell as price traded into it, took the sell. However, we can see where price is still heading to is still very much bullish, and I'm still of the opinion that if we see a pullback a little bit more to this zone, which is where we marked out on our lower time frame. If you look at your lower time frame, talking about this 20 this it here on the 2 hours, you can see we have this fair value gap here, so we expect that price should come and take out this liquidity point here, and also this is a fair value gap, so price may tap into it, and this particular order block here should serve as a defense for price trading below. And if price tapped into it, then that's going to be a new entry for a buy, because we actually look for opportunity to sell somewhere around this zone on Monday, which was this, and it gave using our 5-minute time frame. If you remember, we use our lower time frame 5 minutes to take the sell off on Monday. Yes, exactly. This is still the trade call here. All right, so this is it here. So on Monday, we see how that price gave that entry, I mean sweep break, this pullback, and we see how the price took it out. And during the analysis in the morning, we have this, and we expect it to start, we should follow through to the downside. So in the course of the analysis, we saw this signature and we followed through from this point all the way down. All right, so look, moving forward on the higher time frame for the 24 2 hours time frame, our analysis still remains this fair value gap. We expect price to still retrace into this fair value gap, and we can begin to short the sell of the buy of the 75-1S moving forward. All right, so that is that for the 75-1S, and a quick one to the 75 itself. Our analysis for the 75 still remains the same. We still expect price to trade further down to take out this liquidity and come and tap into this fair value gap that we have here. You can see this is the fair value gap on the 4-hour time frame. You can see it here, and also this confluence of another block. So I'm still of the opinion that we should see, all things being equal, we should see something of this nature on the 75. Then when price get there, we will now begin to long it all the way back up again. So in a nutshell, what we are looking out to see for the 75 is a sell to buy, meaning we are expecting it to sell all the way to this low, and we want to take it all the way back up. All right, 1:2 or 1:3. That is good enough. All right, so that is that for the 75 index. And lastly today, which is 25-1S. So if you look at 25-1S, is been in a consolidation state, looking at the 4-hour time frame. So I'm of the opinion what we need to do for it is go to the lower time frame, and the lower time frame, if you look at it from the 1 hour perspective, we are very much in a sell zone, which means price is still pushing all the way back down. But right now, where price is giving a sign of double bottom, which is a 50-50 chance of price retracing all the way back up. Now, if you go to your lower time frame, like 5 minutes, you may see entry for a sell somewhere around this zone, and you can take it if you want to. But if not, just wait for price to come back to this 4-hour POI level, and which is you can see we have this price has already taken out all this as a shoulder. So the old level we are looking out for on the 4-hour time frame remains this particular zone here. So when price pull back to that zone, then we may want to consider shorting this 25 1s. All right, so this is going to be it for the synthetic analysis for this morning. Let's quickly, knowing fully well that the market is open 24/7. Tomorrow being Saturday, you can still check the market and look out for your entry signatures as price begin to play out everything we've analyzed so far. All right, let's quickly get to the indices market with Demola right now to see what is exactly going on in the indices market and how can we take advantage of it. Let's ask Demola to show us the way this morning. Good morning, Demola.
Good morning, Leko. How you doing today?
Very fine,
You're
thank
good.
you. Yep.
All right. So on the indices market, it's been really, really interesting. Now let me start with a recap of US 30 and some of the trade that we called out on Monday. That was last week. So as of last week, we were at this zone, this Tuesday, no, Monday. I'm looking at Monday, yeah. Monday we were here, and then no price. We had some level marked out. It's still marked out now. This particular level, we're saying that we're expecting price to come all the way into this level. The first one, which is this order block, red, and then the expanded area, which is this level here in the entire area, right? And then price didn't come to that. Hasn't gotten to that level yet. The way it's looking, most likely it will still come, and then we'll now see the continuation to the upside. On US 30, since this is a recap, I won't be wasting much of our time. On NAS 100, on NAS, we didn't trying to remember clearly now. There was no clear setup for NAS. In hindsight now, I'm seeing something really, really obvious we would have capitalized on, which is this order block. Yeah, right. This order block. I'm trying to think, probably I mentioned it, but not just not to waste more of our time. I guess I skipped it, but looking at it now, we'll have taken trades from this other block, right? This entire area, and then exited at this. I've given us that perfect, probably 1:2.5-ish because of the downside that needs to be protected. The risk reward might have been 1:2.5. But however, the one I'm very sure of that we gave on Monday, very classic trade with everything involved, is this one, right? S&P 500. In fact, the area is still marked out. It was at this zone this morning. When I came on Tuesday, I saw price got to this level and then did even dig into this. I was a bit, angry with the entire stuff, right? Saying that, what was remaining, probably an extra 15 pips or so for price to just dig into our point of interest, and then we call it a day, 1:10R easily. Fortunately, what happened next? Price came. And now I believe not everyone will have been tagged into this trade because brokers can be very funny at times. This tiny rejection or tiny dig into this other block would have triggered, depending on the broker you're using. Some will have triggered you into the trade, some wouldn't do that, right? And look at where we are now. This almost 1:8, if I'm not mistaken. All right, went as high as 1:8, 1:8.4, 8.5, stand back at 1:7.75, which is still a good trade, right? All things being equal, this guy gives us everything. We are looking at 1:10R. That's a grand slam trade there, right? 1:10.33R. To help you understand this in context, if you had risked $100, this would be $1,300. If you have risked $1,000, you'll be floating as to speak. Everything being equal, this trade gets to FTSE, be floating $10,300, right, on a single trade. Now, the conversation of will you hold till the end, that's a separate conversation altogether. You can as well just close at 1:5, 1:6. In fact, this trade, you not being on the chart alone, you'd have secured 1:7 easily. That you slept and woke up this morning, you're meeting your 1K and floating 7K, right? Or your $100 floating $700, right? That's the beauty of this kind of setup. But then let's keep our minds open. By next week, we should have other trade play that we want to take, especially with what happened on US, not NASDAQ 100 now, S&P. We can see a retest of that level. Sorry, my chart is loading. We can see a retest of that level once again, and then we take advantage of that since we've made money with S&P 500. I mean, this level, right? Or price even digging into this properly to continue its push to the upside. Any of the opportunity or any of the area of interest is valid. I mean, either this first one or this entire area of interest itself, right? We can use the entire area or refine to this other block, and then we expect price to retest this other block to continue its movement like it did on S&P 500, which is currently running as we speak. That being said, that's pretty much the recap for this week. Hopefully we get more entries next week, and then we would use that to also take trades in the market. All right. If you want to see the full breakdown of how we came about this trade setup, you can visit our Monday Monday market follow session, and then just fast forward to my section. You see the idea behind all of this trade, and then you can use that to help for your own reference when you're studying. That's pretty much what we have this week. We'll see you next week. To the next conversation on commodity market. Abigail I believe she has something for us in that market. Over to you, Abigail. How's the commodity market doing?
Commodity market is doing great. Hello, everyone. Good morning and welcome once again to today's market color recap session. How have we been? And I hope this week treated us right and gave us amazing opportunities to make some money off this financial market. Now, moving into the commodity currency pairs to see what happened, what we discussed on Monday, how they played out, and what is likely to happen moving into next week. I'm going to be starting off with a look at NZD USD. Now, as at Monday's analysis, we drew out certain level points, certain key zones where we're watching to see what price will do. Now, just going to take it off from the top for the sake of those of us who were not here on Monday. Now, we saw the sunshine printed, so this temporal sell was expected. Price eventually came back into the zone. Remember that we drew out this particular level point, this horizontal line you're seeing here on the chart, and we said if price is able to trade above this zone and break through, then we'll know that this temporal buy structures we're seeing on NZD USD is back in full force. However, if it fails to and continues to trade lower, then our bias would be to look for more sell opportunities of NZD USD. Price came into this zone. If you're familiar with the box structure or the box strategy, you see that we had a shoulder, a breakthrough, Okay, sorry about that. We had a brief technical issue, but we're back now. Okay, as I was saying, we threw out that zone for price to break through for us to know that NZD-USD buy is going to be back in full force. However, you're looking at this now, you see that what happened to hold around this zone is a box strategy. There's a shoulder, a break, a sweep, and a return into that shoulder from which NZD-USD sold, and it sold massively. Now let's go to M5 where we would have seen entries using the specific price point that we threw out on the 5 minutes. These are the levels we had marked out, the highs and lows, dating back 2 days before our analysis on Monday. You see how price came to retest our key area. It tapped into this level and NZD-USD delivered a lot of movement. This is over 70 pips, which is still fair for an asset class like NU. It is not the fastest moving asset class that we have out there, but you can see it. So this was the day before yesterday's level of Monday's structure point, and price tapped in on Tuesday. So it didn't get into that level on Monday. It eventually came to trade into that level on Tuesday multiple times. So if you had missed this entry, it came back, we tested the second time, enter, came back again on Wednesday, back into that zone, and gave us 3 different, or I will say 4 different touch points for us to be able to catch NZD, USD sell to the downside. So this is what NZD USD was able to deliver. Looking at USD CAD now, for USD CAD on the H4 time frame as well, let's start from the top. So we expected USD CAD to give us temporal buys into possible resistance levels, and USD CAD should sorry about that, we're back. The network today is moving crazy. Okay, so USD CAD on the H1 time frame, we expected the buys to happen, and it has been doing that surely. Surely it has been delivering, and the price has not yet fully tapped into our 1 hour points of interest. So this is just buy opportunities that has been giving us basically in the market. So these are key levels that we marked out to see how price came. We violated through this particular level point. This is Monday. So let's take it back a little to backdates and see. So this is a level point that we marked out. This is 17. So the Friday of last week, price eventually came back into the zone, tapped into this level on Tuesday. This is where price came to tap into the, you can see it here when I zoom in. I have to zoom out because this is the MT4 platform. So I can't really do as much as the trading view. But you see when price came eventually around this zone on Tuesday, using the crosshair so you can get the specific level point. And it tapped into that key level that we had marked out and continued to buy. Also presented another opportunity on the following day as well, which is Wednesday, and USD CAD was able to give us somewhere around 60 plus pips. So USD CAD also delivered. For the asset class that didn't fully tap into our point of interest, that's AUD USD. You see that we also had specific level points that we had marked out for this particular asset class. Let's go to H1. The level point that we marked out, USD also sold. It came into that gap that we discussed on Monday, or we highlighted. It tapped into it fully, traded above, took out, all of these entire But yeah, basically, this is what the asset classes have been able to achieve. Price also tapped in here and it also sold massively. Now, moving into next week, what do I think is going? Moving into next week, what do I think is going to happen for, AUD/USD? It's currently at a key zone 0.71222. So let us see if this buy is going to hold for AUD/USD buys continue. And then for NZD/USD as well, let's go to the H1. Is it around the key level? I'm going to just adjust these zones now to fit into what we expect price to do. It pretty much even still works. So price is currently at 0.58457. We would like to see if this is going to hold as a support for you to continue to buy or violate through to continue to sell. I'm going to focus on the H1 time frame as my point of interest now, because by Monday I'm going to have new POIs on the 5-minute time frame. So focus on this higher time frame points of interest that I'm marking out. First one is 1.37456. The second one is 1.36661. So these two POIs trade back. I think USD CAD is going to do something like this. It's going to retrace into this zone and then, continue to buy upward or validate through and give us more sell pressure. We're going to be watching to see what it does. And that's pretty much it. The network wasn't the best on our side today, but that's fine. We're going to reconvene on Monday to have a look at the market with a fresh perspective and see the opportunities that present themselves. I hope we're able to get some sort of value from my colleagues today and, be better positioned for next week and see what next week is going to do for us. Remember, today is the weekend, time to rest, but also time to, dedicate some time to studying the market and preparing for new opportunities. Just a final announcement, we have our Ultimate Traders course happening in Abuja. And if you're wanting to join any of our physical classes and you didn't want to come to our old location, we are now in Abuja. So send us a message to our WhatsApp number 081 60 99 50 30 and let us get you on board. Once again, thank you so much for joining. I look forward to seeing you come Monday. Goodbye for now. Cheers and God bless.